Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the reaction to the transfer news we've all been waiting for. James Rodriguez is an Everton player at long last. We've been waiting for pretty much the entire transfer window, and now it's finally a done deal. He signed for Everton on what I think is a 3-year contract, I'm pretty sure.
The two-year contract with the option of a third year, which Everton can trigger, or it will trigger it automatically if he plays over a certain amount of games. And
that's brilliant, actually. That's a very, very good deal. That's actually even better than I was expecting. So,
yeah, according to Paul Joyce, we've paid under £20 million for him as well. So, absolutely brilliant deal.
Yeah, well, I was discussing this with Lucas Navarrete, the Real Madrid fan, and he's a Real Madrid journalist, and he was saying that I don't think 25 million would be brilliant value, but anything under 20 would be fantastic value. So if that's the case, then we've done absolute bits here.
There we go. Like, you can't argue with that, can you? It's what we've been waiting for days. We know there's been pictures of him in various spots around Liverpool, various restaurants, various hotels. There's been the scare stories that people have made up on Twitter, like, oh, he's going back to the airport. And, I saw him leaving, and he said, people acting like they know what's going on with his contract, but all the worry, all the stress is over. He's a blue. He's in the blue shirt.
Done and dusted, He's going to wear the number 19 shirt. Are you happy with that one, Terry?
Oh, you've just broken that to me. I didn't know that. That's nothing can ruin this. Nothing can ruin this. I'd have preferred him in a nicer number, but I don't think many were available. But
if it's any consolation, though, he wore number 19 at Porto, and that's where he played his best football. So,
well, there we go. Yeah, honestly, what a signing! Like, there's people have the question marks over it, like, his age, his injury records. Well, that's out the window now when you see the details of the deal. 2-year deal with an option of a third. And it can only be triggered if we want to, or if he's played enough games, which means he hasn't had the injury troubles. So, fantastic! What a massive coup that is for the club.
Can we also, just, if this is true that it is actually under 20 million, hats off to Marcel Brands as well. Because it's kind of been easy to negotiate with Real Madrid. They're notoriously difficult to work with. We've done very, very well here.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, our money, sort of reality is quite well known to a lot of fans. We're bumping up against, financial regulations, even with the relaxing of the rules due to COVID. But to get a player like that in on that type of deal for that type of money is really good business. I can't wait to see him play now. Carlo Ancelotti has brought in, he's starting to bring his own players into the squad, and he's brought in effectively 2 of his lieutenants, the players he trusts the most from previous stints as a manager. And I hope they can have that desired impact on the dressing room and bring the standards up of the overall team, because that's what we need.
Well, that's exactly what we need, and we needed some quality in midfield, and you don't get much more quality than James Rodriguez, do you?
No, for pure ability-wise, there's no question marks about him. The only question marks have ever been is injury records, and we've sort of insulated ourselves from that, I think, a little bit with the structure.
We've done this. We've made so many mistakes in the past. The likes of Sandro, Balassi, these kind of long-term 5-year deals where we've saddled ourselves with injury-prone players. To bring in a player of the highest quality on a short-term deal that we have the power to extend for a price below 20 million is absolutely fantastic business. And I mean, there's been some Marcel Brands critics out there throughout this transfer window. I think he silenced a few of them with this.
Well, I'm a big supporter of Marcel Brands, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm no more right than anyone else, but I don't think you could point the finger at him on this deal and say he's done a bad job here, because we were all expecting run-of-the-mill 3-4 year maybe deal, but something that an option of a further year is not the type of thing you see Everton doing very often. You see other clubs do that. Man United are quite big on that. Like, they sign contracts and then add an optional last year so they can get out of commitments if they want to, or they can not be held to ransom if the contract winds
down.
Yeah, it's very clever from us, and I'd like to see us do this a little bit more, because there's so many players over the last 2 years, especially, who if we'd have been like that with them, we would have saved ourselves a year's worth of wages because we'd have terminated early. We're still, shifting deadwood in the squad, nearly done, but still some of it's there. Brilliant bit of business. And just, you say, hats off to Marcel Brands, hats off to Carlo Ancelotti. He's made, this happen. That's the pulling power of this manager that we've got. We're getting stars of, name recognition of this level are coming to Everton. Probably our lowest ebb for a while with, finishing 12th. And we're attracting players that clubs around us could not attract because we've got this manager.
Well, that's the power of having. I was saying this. He is still one of the best managers in the world, and having that pulling power is fantastic. But even then, we could have had this in the past, but we'd have just paid up to get Carlo the players he wanted. Under Steve Walsh, there's no doubt we would have done something like this. Under Steve Walsh, there's no way we bring Ancelotti in, by the way. But the point is, under a weaker director of football, we may well have succumbed to a higher fee, a longer contract, higher wages. But the fact is, we've secured ourselves financially very well in this situation. I mean, we talk about the deadwood that we've got to shift, and you've pretty much nailed it, that we don't have to worry about that. And maybe this is a sign of that Marcel Brands as being a lot more strategic than his predecessor, and that can only be good for the club moving forwards. Hopefully once we shift the deadwood we've got now, that we won't end up in a position like that again.
Yeah, exactly. And just, there's a difference between signing some of the players we have signed and signing James Rodriguez from Real Madrid. He's one of the top stars in world football on just ability, and he's come to Everton. I'm absolutely over the moon. I can't wait to see him play. I wonder what he's going to be like in the Premier League. It's a fantastic signing for the club.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, the statement I was speaking to, like I say, Lucas Navarrete, who's saying how big a name this guy is in Colombia and what this could do for us commercially. We need to capitalise on this. We've brought in one of Colombia's greatest ever players, certainly most worshipped by the Colombian football fans. We need to take advantage of this. We haven't done it well enough in the past. This is a massive opportunity for the club to grow commercially, which in turn helps the FFP, which in turn gives us more spending power. To build on this, we need to really capitalise. Can't understate how important that is.
He's a superstar. If you remember back to the World Cup when England played Colombia, he wasn't playing, he was in the stands, but the cameras, every time anything happens in the game, panned to him. The cameras were obsessed with his reaction to things. If you watch the All or Nothing documentary by Amazon of Brazil, and you see the difference between, there's loads of the Champions League level players all in that Brazil squad, but Neymar's the superstar. Neymar's the number one, and everyone sort of just takes his lead. And you can see the Colombia and their team and the Colombian nation is exactly the same with James as Brazil is with Neymar. Like, he's an absolute megastar in South America, and that's just something the club needs to, if they don't know how to capitalise on that, they need to learn quickly, because it's going to be the biggest wasted opportunity. It'd be a bigger waste than when we had Tim Howard after that World Cup if we don't capitalise on this, because James Rodriguez is a star bigger than any other previous Everton player, and I include Wayne Rooney in that. That's how big he is.
Well, he's got more followers on Twitter than Wayne Rooney. This guy is like, Colombia's got a big population. That's a big market to dip into if we seize the opportunity properly.
Well, we were meant to go to the USA this summer before COVID for a pre-season tour. I'd put some money on us going to the likes of Miami next summer. I don't think we'll go to Colombia itself, but I think we'd probably go to like somewhere like Miami where there's a large, Spanish, Colombian, whatever your population. And I think we'd draw some crowds if we've got like Richarlison, James there, and Yerry Mina and whatever.
Yeah, that'll go down very well. And of course, let's not forget that Yerry Mina plays his part here in the announcement. I'm liking this new announcement setup that they've got.
Every club has their own sort of gimmick each transfer window, don't they, how they announce things. And ours is seems to be the GIF, like sort of 2-minute warning, and then you get a little animation with with the player just shown at the end. It's I've seen some more elaborate ones, but I quite like it. I think it's quite good.
I'm really liking the little prelude with with one of our current players. I think that's a really good little touch. So I'm just waiting for the Luca Dean nose now.
Yeah, it'd have to be him, wouldn't it? Otherwise, it'd be Nkunku.
Nkunku. Well, he's only just come in. I mean, God forbid, like we sign a Spanish player and we have to do Sandro knows.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's brilliant. And of course, we haven't even touched on what he could bring to us as a player as well. This is like a really gifted player who brings some skill to a midfield that was sorely lacking in, let's be honest.
Yeah, he'll bring the. You can never guarantee any player brings goals, but he'll bring chance creation, and though you know who's going to skip into training tomorrow? All of the strikers, because they'll know that we're going to have more opportunities now than the. Yeah, rather than just floated balls into the box with no pace from well, I won't name names for flavour from certain players out wide, and long balls fired into your neck, and one and decent half chance.
Pickford lumping it up to Bernard.
Yeah, you see some of the assists in his in James' highlight reel, and you just think our two starting strikers, how good they are in the air, and how good they are running onto things. They'll be absolutely salivating thinking about coming in and him coming into the team and creating chances like that for them to feed off of.
Definitely, that's got to be. It could well be a crucial signing in terms of increasing the entire goal output, whether it's from the strikers, from every player in the team. I think with that kind of service, you've always got a chance.
You'd hope so. Like obviously, nothing's guaranteed with any new player, whether they're from this league or not. But he's definitely got the highest potential of any player we've brought in, just based on pure talent, because he is a world class talent when he's on it.
We were expecting when we made this announcement to be like, oh, he's 29, sell on value X, Y, Z, but that's not important here. This was about bringing talent to a squad that was lacking in it, and at the end of the day, any sort of doubts about financial side of things have really been put to bed with the fact that we've done a very, very good deal here.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the signing of these two players in particular, two 29-year-olds, I thought, decent money, but, lower than we expected for Allen, and certainly lower than was quoted for James. I think it's a case of we've got to get the mentality, get the culture into the club transformed. You've got to get that shape, because he's had a good hard look at the squad, Ancelotti now, and he's got into this window. Probably
Carlo's one of the most intelligent managers out there.
Yeah, I've got some quality young players. I've got Gordon. I've got Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, Holgate. I've got these young players, but there's such low standards. They fall apart in pressure games. They get bullied by teams who they perceive as bigger than them. All this, he's probably thinking that's what I need to bring in more than anything, more than on the pitch. I think he wants to bring characters in. All right, they're a little bit older, but they've not been tied down to mega long contracts. They either do the job or they're gone shortly after. And I just hope they do. I hope they can come in, bring a different level to the whole squad, lift the rest of the squad up, and then you can build from there. And in 3 years, when these two contracts are up, hopefully we're looking at it and going, well, we brought in a couple of other young players who have learned from them as well, and we can either replace them with them, or we can turn around and go, you know what, we're going to give them another year or two each, because we've moved on a lot of the other older players, and now they're the only two old players we've got in the whole squad. We've got a young squad, but we've got two experienced heads who set the standards. You've got to, I mean, I've read that Ancelotti's book, and he's always thought that he did it with Ibrahimovic at PSG. And it's no surprise that he's looking to do it here. We're bringing in certain characters to change the personality of a dressing room.
Well, that's what this club is. PSG were loaded, but we're bringing in players being ambitious. But it was only when Zlatan arrived that they really went to that level where they were perceived as an elite club.
Yeah. He saw it in the post-lockdown games that, like, this squad's got ability, but they have got no bottle. Gary Neville says it all the time. Says every time Everton are in a key game, you might as well just you put your money on them losing, because they're not going to. We never win the key game, and that's gone all the way back to David Moyes. The subsequent managers have spent a fortune and have never corrected it. And this is hopefully what this manager, a proven winner, who's bringing in his own players who he trusts from his previous clubs, knows he can change. Mourinho did it at Chelsea back in the day. other managers have brought, famous for bringing players from their previous clubs because they know what they can bring, and I hope that these two players have this transformative effect on the club, which is what I think is the idea.
I think that's definitely the idea, and it's great to hear. Obviously, I spoke to Lucas Navarrete before this, and he was saying that James is a bit limited as defensively, but he can thrive if he has a grafter behind him in the midfield. And I think he's trying to find the right complement for James, and he's found it hopefully in Alan, because I don't think there's many better than him for that kind of role.
Well, again, in Ancelotti's book, he describes James Rodriguez as a very unselfish player, and he used that terminology while he's been at Everton to describe Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. He likes unselfish players who want the team to win and don't mind if they don't score, if they set one up for someone else. So I don't think it's about having a team full of tacklers. I think it's about players who work hard and help others. James Rodriguez doesn't need to be doing slide tackles in the centre of the pitch, but he needs to assist the players who are going to do that. And I think he's probably going to, be more up for doing that than some of the other players who've got ability but shirk the hard work.
Not naming names there, are we?
No.
But anyway, we'll leave it at that. Obviously, very, very pleasing news. That's an understatement, isn't it? I mean, everyone is absolutely buzzing. I haven't even looked at my Twitter feed while we've been doing this, but I can't wait to see what's been going on. I mean, like say that monkey video is going to be going around, that the monkeys dancing to Spirit of the Blues, That's going to be the vibe on Twitter tonight, and it's fantastic. It's great to see. We haven't been this excited probably since Lukaku signed like this. It was a big, ambitious move, and hopefully we can, not cock it up this time and under the manager.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Whatever you think of transfers are some of the best things about football. Like there's winning matches, there's winning, competitions, and there's signing players. They're the three most exciting things you can do. So just enjoy it. Like, there's always a chance any signing could not come off. But, if you can't enjoy it when they come in, you can't enjoy it at all. Like, down the line, you might end up going, that didn't work out. But at least you had when they signed, you were excited and you didn't know yet what they were going to be like. And I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this. I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I'm going to go and enjoy it as well. I might actually have something a bit stronger to celebrate this iconic night. Anyway, guys, of course, let us know your opinions on this deal. I can't imagine there'll be too many complaining about this one. Drop us a comment below. Give this video a like, subscribe for more great content, hopefully more announcement videos, you never know. And until next time, thank you for tuning in on the Toffee Blues. See you later.